Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. This is Just Two Camera Guys, a show where we're going to talk about all things camera. Joining me tonight is my good buddy, Nick Lamb, sitting over there on the other side. And I'm Emery Wolf. So yeah, I guess first things first, what'd you think of the new intro, Nick?
Yeah, nothing says self-importance like super dramatic music.
I think it's fun. We got a new background going here too, a little bit of a
I like
concept.
it. Can you get rid of us to show the
let's see. Do you know what? I'm just gonna remove you first. No, because if I do that, it's gonna
it doesn't work.
Well, they kind of seen it there when I flip from that.
Yeah, we can show it.
Basically, there's a lamb and a wolf, and
that's funny.
That's what we thought was kind of funny. I actually stole those pictures from Pixels or Pexels, sorry, I should say. So when I actually put this out, I'm gonna have to put in like a little photo credit for the people who actually did it. I do have.
Does it have a big watermark on it?
No. There's so Pexels is actually like a free site where you can go on, and all they sort of ask is for that attribution. So I'll start adding it into our videos, even though it's going to be the same photos, I think, until we decide. I mean, we could replace them at any time, realistically.
Yeah.
So we might have some fun with it.
What is that? No, are you rad? Do you wear jewelry or something?
No, it's just this microphone. I don't even know why, because it's like way up here, but it's just. I'll try to like.
Do I need to remind you have like a $600 microphone that you can plug into your computer?
Yeah, what are you using tonight?
My AirPods.
Yeah. So don't be so salty with it, Nick. Do you know what, Nick? The first thing I kind of want to jump into here tonight is our story of. Well, Nick is dying. I'm going to jump into the story of our Drobos. So we talked a little bit about this before, but
okay, that's going to drive me absolutely bonkers at that rustling. Do you have like a little
here, I'll just hold it
up
like
or something?
Then. No, just hold it up. So the show is not about you, Nick.
Here, take a stuffy. Just grab a stuffy and put it on your thing in between.
Typical Nick fashion, trying to make it all about him. Is that your favorite stuffy?
No, this is Ruth. It sings and it repeats whatever you say. Ruth brought it down here to annoy me to death one day.
All right, so getting back to the Drobo story. So we mentioned it before. Nick's Drobo died on him. I also use a Drobo, which is I feel like that's an oddity that both of us.
There's only two people on the planet.
Yeah. So anyways, what we ended up doing was unhooking my Drobo, sending it to Nick, and Nick literally jammed in all 5 of his drives. And it fired up, which to me is pretty remarkable, actually.
Like, they weren't the same either. Is the weird part. Like they were different model year, whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Like if other NAS sort of drives would do that for sure. Like I just don't know.
So when I'm just spoiler alert, I've got a Synology now, and when I was setting it up, there was a couple different formats to pick from. And the one format said, this is the most universally accepted format. So we'd encourage you to use this because I don't know why they give the 2 options. That's like reminds me of, have you ever been to the hardware store and they've got tubs and they've got a section of tubs. I kid you not. It says non-slip tubs. Yeah. Take the slip tub, please. Like there's 2 options to set up your hard drive. First option doesn't work. Nobody uses it. Your data will be lost forever. Second option.
Well, I think honestly, if to be fair to them too, like what they're trying to do is like I think the first option is all about speed. And then there's probably like a handful of different RAID options that you can pick up. One of them's all about speed. One of them's all about backup. And then I think probably the option you're taking is like a mid-ground between the 2.
Well, now I should have actually wrote this down. But so then after that, then you get to pick how many redundant drives you want, whether you want 1, 2. There might have been a 3 option, but I'm not. Yeah. I don't know what to think on that. because I'd ideally like to just do one redundant drive, but the second your one drive goes, it's like nerve-wracking while you're waiting for it all to get backed up. So I don't know. I feel like 2 is probably the way to go.
Yeah, which is actually funny, right? And that's probably why both of us used Drobo in the past, because then you don't have to worry. So actually, from my side of this, my perspective, so I unloaded all my drives. When I got my Drobo back, I popped them all in, fired it back up, but I ended up changing my system because of this. So I used to have 2 Drobos. So the one behind me over there, and then all the hard drives are right there for it. I've disconnected that. I just went to a regular external. That's my backup now. It's sitting underneath my computer, freed up some desktop space, which was kind of nice. Then I also started taking, I took the drives I wanted to keep in this Drobo now and threw them in, let it run through its thing, and just fired off. And you hot swap them, which is like crazy. Like literally just pop it out, put it back in. Or even too, if I was to pop one out right now and put it back in, it would take 5 minutes, but everything would be the same. And I could still work. I could still watch my Unsolved Mysteries, I think was my example I said to you. So yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. It's pretty good. We were too looking into whether Drobo was like going out of business. It doesn't seem like they are. It just seems like they're dealing with supply chain issues like everyone else. And maybe because they're a smaller company, it's affecting them a little bit more.
Yeah, well, their stuff typically was higher priced. So they'd be really struggling with it, because if they were having to pay higher prices, then their stuff would be almost even like just, you couldn't even, I don't know how they would even compete.
Do you think are you getting away from your Drobo entirely, or are you going to keep it for backup?
No, well, mine doesn't work. So I think the main motherboard or the main board or whatever in it's fried. So I'm just going to, I guess I could try to sell it as is, like just say dead, doesn't work. But I don't know who's going to buy it.
Yeah, no one.
Might just throw it out.
It's probably all it's good for now, sadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's just NAS for you and rocking through that, I guess.
Yeah, now I've somehow got to figure out, I don't know how to do this. I've got to figure out how to incorporate the new Synology setup with Backblaze without using the business cloud where you pay per gigabyte. I just want to go on the all you can eat plan or whatever, but we'll see if I can figure that out.
Yeah. So one other thing I want to touch on with you here, Nick, is you lost your drone. You want to run through that story a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I was flying it, and then I thought I put it away, like back out in the where I keep all my camera equipment. But it's gone. Like I didn't lose it flying it, but it's gone. I don't know where it went. I don't know who would have stolen it. I don't want to think that would happen, but I'm hoping I'm going to open up like a camera case or something like that someday and go, oh, there's my drone.
I think you probably left it in a field somewhere.
Well, so I was filming with it, but no, I would have brought it. Wouldn't that be insane if I just completely lost my mind and packed up after the shoot and left it there? I don't think that would happen.
I'm sure it's possible, though, right?
I guess.
I asked you to look at something here, Nick. I don't know if people have seen this, but this is a video from the RedBull drone stuff. And yeah, this video is something. So this is actually on Reddit where I'm showing it from. It's where I first seen it. But the original owner, I believe it's on like RedBull's YouTube site if you go and watch it.
Wow. Where is this? Is this in Brazil or where is this?
Honestly, I don't even know. Again, RedBull's going to be the place.
This looks like the start of the Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah. So, I'm the one who's anti-FPV drone. And I think this is actually pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Like whoever's flying this thing, he is a master. Yeah. So it's moments like that where that's what makes
just smashes into somebody.
A little sad that you lost your drone, Nick.
Well, my drone doesn't do this. I just fly it vertically. I just go.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, basically it goes on for a few minutes here of this, and that's the thing too, right? Like, so we watched about half of it, but that's it. Anyways, I encourage people to go out and watch it, and yeah, to see what droning is all about.
So I did watch the video where you were talking about it. You love these existential questions where it said, "Do you take a photograph or make a photograph?" I watched that one.
I don't even remember. Oh, that was with the Tin House Studios, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your answer to that?
Well, it's a weird question. It's like it feels like our intro. It's a very make self-importance question, but it's interesting in the fact of I feel like I take photographs, but yet I make them how I want them to be. Like, I guess that's still taking it, but I'll very specifically show it exactly how I want to show it, if possible. Like, for example, we did a video, like a Leroy video, where I can't remember why, but I was just like, I'll just throw on the 85 and I'll film it kind of how I normally film stuff. But I still did it handheld. And there's a bunch of people in the comments like, whoa, you've upped your camera game. Holy. But it's funny because it's like, that's how I always film, but you just can't really film that way how we're doing, because I like to be able to zoom and wave the camera around. Yeah. So I don't know. Sometimes you're taking photographs and sometimes you're maybe it's just an intentionality thing. You're just being very intentional about what you're wanting to show and how you're showing it. If I'm ever taking, do you find this with landscapes? I find whenever I'm taking a photo, like a landscape, I almost always want to get wider.
No.
No?
Not for me. No. I'm very much of the opinion in variety. So, I mean, there's times where like I will forget to slap on my 70 to 200, but it's still like, I think that's just as useful as a tool as wide. And if I ever feel like I need to go wider, probably my next thought would be pano.
Oh, how often do you do that kind of photograph?
Not very often.
Do you do it in camera or after?
After. So like I'll do the like set the camera up in portrait style, so you get more height to it, more grass, more sky, and then you pano it in a series that way and stitch it together after.
Yeah. Do you scrape the camera along the grass and make it rub like the microphone?
Probably. Man, just on me tonight.
Well, I had an impression of you that I was trying to work on. Did I tell you that?
Oh boy! All right, well, you can't just tease with that.
Because it was gonna go. It was like, welcome to Just Two Camera Guys, where I show all about me hating social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube,
funny
making videos, putting anything out.
And then I'm just like hopelessly like addicted to it because I just like consume it all.
Well, you're weird. Actually, is paradox the right word? Because I think you despise social media, the idea of making something to put it out there, but yet at the same time you also take photographs and are 50% of one of the most not only successful but like prolific, like the Facebook groups in Saskatchewan. So it's like you guys don't only have a huge following, but you also produce more content than almost everybody else.
Yeah. it's hard.
And you've got this now. Our show, nobody actually watches it, but we're still making content, putting it out there on a regular basis. Yeah, how do you like? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's like a love-hate thing. I think I'm trying to find my place in that world, right? And that's why, like, I consume it. I go through it. I try to figure out what fits for me and what doesn't. And honestly, like a lot of the times, and I like, well, you've seen my stuff. Like I go out of my way to reject the current trends.
Yeah. But why? Where does the almost despising it come from?
I think it's like, it's partly like my experience, probably partly some of the stuff I read about it. So when it comes to like my experience, just like how much time I spend on it, and then like I'm questioning how much value I actually got in that time, right?
But would that not be like that would be, I feel like that's almost the argument of like blaming the tobacco company because you got lung cancer. Like you had the choice not to do it.
Yeah, but I love like the media itself and making it and doing the photos and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a bit of a.
So is it more how it's presented?
No, it's like, it's the fluffy stuff. It's like the emotionally, how it affects me emotionally, how it affects me, you know, with my thoughts or whatever. And I feel like social media shouldn't affect my thoughts. I feel like I should affect social media's thoughts.
Yeah. So now if Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or Twitter, all of those companies, if they weren't run by a corporation, if it was essentially the Linux version of it, like the open source, everybody owned their content that was on there, would you like that more?
It's interesting you say that. So I'm going to switch this. I was going to go through a creator report just because you were talking about followers, but
no, we can do that.
No, it's good. So Struthless, if you guys haven't followed them at all, I think you should. People should be watching his videos. He did this one here called The Problem with the Internet That No One Is Talking About. I'm going to click on it. It's probably going to play. Hopefully it's not.
You love Gantt
good. An ad.
charts?
That's always.
I do love Gantt charts. Actually, I haven't seen a Gantt chart in years.
So anyways, he runs through this video, and it's actually interesting because he does sort of talk about these conflicts. So basically, like, he starts off with these questions, and he's like, you know, as a content creator, are you sick of the pressure of currently or having to make content like every day and just spit it out? And like, and when did that happen? And when did we become this place where we're just going to spit out content constantly? And basically the answer I think he comes up with is that like money ruined everything. So essentially he goes through some history stuff, which is pretty neat, but he gets to the point where he's like, you make content to go viral rather than something that's good or something you want. Then he says, you know, this is a limit to your creativity because you end up serving the algorithm because you're trying to make it go viral. You're chasing brand, you're chasing audience, because the better your brand is, the more audience you have, you can actually sell stuff and make money. And creativity is a risk to those things, or is a risk to making money. The thing I do like about what he does, eventually when you get to the end of it, he talks about how you can maybe overcome it. And he talks about depth. And I've talked to you about this, and this is probably like where a lot of my, when we were talking about our community and where it comes from, but he talks about depth, creating small groups, sustaining them for a longer time, really catering to that group, and building them as a smaller set of like ultra fans who will buy into everything that you do. He gives some other examples of how to get through it. He gives some other examples of like how to do it as well that I also think are quite valuable. So yeah, if anybody gets time to actually watch this video specifically, I think it's pretty good, and it's going to be worth your time. So
Can
yeah,
you leave a link to that in the on YouTube?
I'll figure it out later.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so like that's one of those things like where, you know, I think it is a problem, and this content stuff is a problem, and I'll watch videos like that and I kind of agree with him, but then I'm still trying to find that that spot and where I fit, and maybe, and honestly myself, I would see myself following the principles that he sort of sets out that would work better with me or fit better with my mentality of how this should work. Do you know what? I'm going to go back.
Get you some wireless, some AirPods.
Do you know what? I really do need to get some, because I can't, these are like wired, and I can't like plug it into my phone anymore because my phone's just got the lightning jack. So I do have to get something.
Yeah,
do you know what? I actually,
nice. I'll send you a link. I know you'll be surprised about this, but I found a decent discount place with some good deals on them. I think they're refurbished. I don't think they're stolen or knockoffs.
Do they have ones that aren't Apple?
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll love these then, because they do things with your iPhone that the non-Apple ones don't do, at least as far as I know.
Like
you can get it to read your text messages for you. It does voice to text really simple. The transparency mode's awesome. The normal mode's awesome. The noise cancellation's amazing.
Yeah, I'll take like a better sounding thing for music over that any day.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah. Anyways, going back to this. So this creator report was put out by LinkTree.
Yeah.
Do you know what LinkTree is, Nick?
The links. Yes, actually, I do know what LinkTree is, because we use it on Leroy and Leroy.
Right. So basically, it's just a site where you can put links to all your stuff. Do you know what? Actually, let's do this. I can actually show what it is, because so on all my social media stuff, you'll see the LinkTree link here. And when you click to it, it links to everything that I do. So just two camera guys there, chasing yesterday, black ice. And then all of these are links as well that go to place as well. My NFT, if anybody wants to buy it, it's right there.
Yeah.
Link to it.
Whoa. You could crash the server, Emery. Slow down.
It's awesome. Anyway, so LinkTree put out this creator report, and this is what I found interesting. There's a whole pile of stats on here. It's actually worth like a one overlook at it. But just how many creators there are and where they're following into. So if you have 0 to 1,000 followers, there is 23 million other people like you out there. And yeah.
That's us.
Yeah, that's just two camera guys. If you have 1,000 to 10,000, they call you a semi-pro, and there's 139 million people in that group.
Oh, how did I lost our? Oh boy, this is why I'm not a pro. I lost our. I closed a window or something. Now I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Fired.
This is crazy. What did I do?
Well, Nick's trying to figure that out. So we got the pro level, which is 10,000 to 100,000, and there's 41 million people into that group. So chasing yesterday falls into that group. So I guess I'm a pro influencer. I should say Susan's probably a pro influencer.
Yeah, she is a pro influencer. She's really good.
Yeah. The next level, expert, is 100,000 to 1 million, and this is where just two camera guys. This is where Leroy and Leroy fits in. And there's only 2 million in that group.
Is that in the world or in North America?
The world.
Wow.
So good for you guys.
That's not bad.
So you're an expert, Nick.
Oh, wow. What's the...
Do you feel like an expert?
No, not very often.
Yeah. There's some other interesting stuff. They have like part-time creators to full-time creators. Clearly there's way more part-time creators. And yeah, all sorts of other just stats on.
Be curious, what are the stats? Do they say how many full-time creators there are in the world?
So you could figure it out by the percentage. So 46 of them are full-time.
Whoa, hold on. How does this even make sense? 46%
sense.
of full-time creators make less than $1,000.
Oh, because so that is an ouch.
Like, I guess it's
probably $1,000 a month.
But still, that's not even. You have to live at home for that to be even viable.
Isn't that where some of these people live?
I'm guessing.
Like
You'd have to.
I would assume it's like, there's some kids on Twitch or something streaming video games and doing it full time.
I guess. You know what? It could be the dollar value that we're thinking. We're thinking of this as North Americans, but if there's somebody from another country where the currency converts over a little poorer, could be that kind of thing if we're going worldwide.
Yeah. I just wanted to show some other stats here too. So this is from Wistia. Have you ever heard of Wistia?
Yeah.
So it's a video platform. I don't know.
I almost used it at one time. To be honest, I don't see the value in it anymore. I don't even see the value in Vimeo anymore.
Yeah, I think Wistia would be good. Like if you are a company, and probably a large company who can afford it, and throw out all your stuff on this, because you would get better statistics on all your videos.
I still don't see the point of doing it over YouTube, but
that's all about metrics. But anyways, they released another report here too. There was just some interesting things. Like again, so this is all from their website and what it is. But basically, videos created hasn't really shot up in 2020, but it's leveling off here. Average video length I thought was interesting for them. So below 1 minute is the one that's peaking, right? So shorts again, and all of a sudden another peak here, 5 minutes to 30 minutes. So again, they're sort of proving those other stats.
Can you go back to that for a second? Yeah, you're right, because the less than 1 minute, that's TikTok and Shorts for sure. Because the jump from 2019 to 2020, that's pretty dramatic. And then the 5 minute to 30 minute, to me, that's YouTube 8 minutes, because you can actually get embedded advertising after 8 minutes, so you can get an ad break.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Just again, Wistia is another place where they're looking at their own videos, but I actually do think it does reflect a lot of what's going on.
So, okay. Yeah, you did say that. Sorry. For some reason I was applying this to YouTube. So,
or even something like this, HD video up versus 4K and where it is, right? So 4K video upload shot up by 55%.
I would almost argue that people aren't even doing that on purpose for the most part. That it's just like you're hitting export and whatever happens.
Wistia too, it's a little bit different though. So I feel like that's actually a legit stat for them in the 4K.
Okay. They're actually going to have video professionals that are typically uploading to it. Yeah. I see.
So anyways, another good place to look at a ton of creator stuff.
This is interesting. I don't know how this even happened, but the uploads are less in 2021, but yet the time watched is higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually think it's probably the same, right? Like if you looked at TikTok, I imagine it's probably the same. There's probably less video uploads. So, people going back to work, people just don't have the time to do it like they did. So less.
But yet they're watching more?
I wouldn't see why not.
I guess.
I mean, people are going to
creating, they're consuming.
People got used to that consuming, so they're consuming it regardless. One last thing I sent you, HubSpot, obviously. There's tons of stuff on their blog. I don't even know how old this is. It's probably older than I think it is, but it came across my desk a couple weeks back. But yeah, this was a short list of things you should be doing if you are trying to be a creator or trying to do the stuff that we're doing. Snick Lamb, number one, read news about your industry every day.
Well, you know what? I more or less read or consume something about camera stuff more so than anything else. Like
every day, though?
Probably pretty darn close, if not every day.
But you look at nothing I send you?
No, you know what's funny? When I said that I didn't look at it, I've read I read that Wistia thing actually in pretty great detail beforehand. So I did go through that when you sent it. I just I don't know. Forgot.
Right on the regular. So I'm going to change this for us. It's probably like shoot or work or do something on the regular. I think we both do. I think that's why we work at Pat's games, honestly.
Yeah.
Or whatever else we're doing.
Well, that's the Pat's games are a different thing for me. I think I do those games more for the social, like you get to hang out with different people. It's more of hanging out with your peer group.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's part of working though, right? Like your work group is your peer group, isn't it?
Yeah, by peer group I mean people that are interested in filming things and operating cameras and
like if you worked a regular job, Nick.
Yeah.
I used to always say, like, if you ask me, well, I would probably even say it now, but like the reason I do it, and I always say it was to keep my shit quick. So in other words, so that I kept doing it on the regular, kept shooting it, kept working a camera, kept touching things, and kept moving forward. Because if you don't, you just get out of that habit, or you get out of the function of, if you don't do it, Nick, all of a sudden you're shooting 59.98 frames per second when you're supposed to be shooting in 29.
Okay. I think the person who decided to shoot in 29 was wrong to start with.
No, it's fine. That's what that's what like YouTube wants, right? Like, so.
No, they don't.
Isn't it 29?
Well, you can put it. So here's the thing that you can do, and every movie on the planet does this. They'll shoot in 23.976, but then if it is going to TV, you can still export 23.976 and 29.97, and it looks considerably better than if you shot it in 29.97 and exported it in 29.97. And in my opinion, you have a difficulty fixing something that's shot in 29.97, even if you export it in 23.976.
I don't know if I'm going to fully agree with that.
I'm a snob.
I don't think it looks considerably better.
Well,
there's a little bit more motion blur, and that's about it. And it helps with some smoothing out of some things. Like it's better shooting lower than it is double.
Well, 60 though, the thing is okay, so 60 looks so this is just my own how I view it. 60 looks like a commercial if you shoot it in 60 frames. 23.976 looks like a movie. 29.77 looks like news. And
I feel like that is being highly unfair, but that's okay.
To who?
Well, like the news has its look because of how it's set up, not because of its frame rate.
I think it's because of its frame rate.
No,
because they'll write on the thing, you have to shoot 29.97 because we're exporting in 29.97, and then it looks like crap.
I don't know. I really don't think it makes that much of a difference. I think that there's two values to shooting. So here's the thing. So I shot at 59.
Yeah.
The reason I think that's wrong, and is it wrong? Maybe not. The reason people shoot it now is because your like base computer frame rate is 60 hertz. So hypothetically, a 60 frame rate or a 59.9 is going to look very smooth or very clean, very crisp, very sharp with it. However, when you convert that down, it keeps some of that sharpness and it looks almost like too sharp and looks fake. So when it gets to 29, that's how it's going to look. And basically people sort of call that video. Whereas when you shoot at 24 frames per second, you get that extra motion blur because it's slightly slower.
Well, your motion blur comes from your shutter angle, though, so you can get a similar.
Right, but let's be fair here too. Like in video, how most are shooting, they're not working with shutter angle; they're working with shutter speed.
Shutter speed, yeah. And you know what? You're right. It is sharper on because you do have more frames, so it will be perceptibly sharper.
Right. And then the other big benefit I think to 24 that like everyone just glazes over is actually it allows, because it's a longer time, it allows slightly more light in, which is better so basically you can create more depth in a darker scene. And like most things, honestly, are probably going to be darker because if you even take the lighting setup in my house right now, this would be dark in a camera. So and that's where 24 helps.
And I've got extremely specific view. Like I just would never shoot in 29.97 unless it was written up in the contract that I had to shoot in it for the deliverable. And I've shot in it before because I've had some contracts with that, but it's like keep telling people it doesn't matter because that's job security for me.
Anyways, getting back to this list, and what this list actually sort of looked like to me as well, it was partly like what we do with this show. So read news about your industry every day. Well, I feel like I read it, I send it to Nick. Nick doesn't read it, but we do review it on the show.
Do your impression of me where I just
number 2, right on the regular. Again, shoot on the regular. That's kind of what we're doing.
That's huge, and that's something. I tried to shoot something today and I just forgot. Actually, no, I did have a shoot today, an actual shoot, but I tried to vlog.
We're gonna have to talk about that in a bit. Study your industry's audience. I think we try to do that. We talk about the algorithms all the time and like how to do it
but that's interesting. That's something that I've never really thought about diving into.
You don't look at like the people who follow Peter McKinnon and wonder what's up with them?
No, that's interesting. No, I haven't. I have never really thought about that because on our show, to me, it's just extremely specific. It's so niche. It's a niche of a niche of a niche.
Yeah, but there's an audience for it, right? And it's understanding what that audience wants, hopefully, and hopefully giving it to them.
Yeah.
I think we're doing it with the show.
You know what it is? I guess I'm trying to think. So for Leroy and Leroy, in general, it would be more it's similar to Chasing Yesterday, where it's like Canadiana, and to make it even broader, Midwest USA, that whole kind of different attitude feel of things.
Actually, it's funny. I could probably have Susan come on this show and like do an entire thing on study your industry's audience. She doesn't study the industry, but she looks at ours quite a bit and sort of, honestly, she does a lot of stuff like just because the audience will want it. Establish your own voice. That is this show to a T. This is us establishing our voice, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
That's curate other people's content when it makes sense. I guess I just showed everything on the screen today. Understand your KPIs. I don't think we do that.
No. Well, we don't have any KPIs.
Yeah, so it's not our fault.
Yeah.
It's the rest of you.
I love the, you know what I find hilarious? the person on YouTube that gets on there and borderline berates the audience for not having enough likes on their video. And have you ever, okay, there's this one guy that does color for video, like he does how to color and resolve and all these things. And every video he does, he spends about the first 5 minutes talking about how much the algorithm hates him, how much YouTube hates him, it goes into the metrics of his videos even and shows how quick it dies and how much YouTube sucks and how bad the algorithm is, and then goes on to give extremely valuable coloring information. But it's just so funny.
Yeah. You see what I threw up there?
Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ring that bell, people.
Yeah, I haven't heard as many smash that like buttons as there used to be. That was huge for a while.
Oh, it's funny. Number 7 is an interesting one here. Network at every opportunity. I think I'm terrible at networking in general. However, if we ever do the meetup like we say we're going to do, falls into that category.
That is, I think the people that are, with the rare exception, the people that are absolutely crushing it, that's what they're crushing, is they're completely crushing their networking and they're making the most of all their opportunities with that. For example, do you follow Gary Vee at all?
Not really. I know who he is.
He's got this great thing on networking where he'll tell you to go through your phone every day, pick a different letter, and just send a message to somebody on the contact with that and just say, like, hope things are going well for you. Like, just even that simple. And just send it off.
Yeah. I thought,
which I find fun. I sent some. I actually followed up with that, and it's really fun. I find, because all of a sudden you're connecting with all these people you haven't connected with in a while. It's
just like in my mind is like, no.
No, I don't know. I don't mind. I think I'm slightly more, oddly enough, even though you enjoy talking in front of large groups way more than me. I think that I might be more social than you, as odd as that sounds. Maybe I like it more. I don't think I'm more social than you, but I don't have a problem with it the way you do.
Here's the difference. You put me and you into a room of people we don't know. I think you're more likely to talk than I am.
Not necessarily. Here's the thing. When I go home at the end of the day, I won't be exhausted.
Oh, and I will be. I'll just be like,
yes. I won't bother me that much. Even if it was awkward, it'd be fine.
Number 8, just moving on, offer solutions, not commentary. I think we are all commentary, no solutions. But that's okay. I don't know. I understand where they're coming with that one. It's like,
we just offered frame rate solutions.
Yeah. Drobo solutions.
A Drobo solution.
Yeah. Then the last one, question everything. Nick is always wrong. That is my first inclination, no matter what.
Yeah, just stick with that.
Yeah. Yeah, moving on to the next thing. Money with Katie. I think I sent this to you, Nick.
I don't remember seeing this.
I've talked
about
her.
I'll have an opinion on it, so this is good.
Well, I've talked about her just because it's a finance blog thing.
Yeah.
And this is really what I wanted to talk about. But if you go back, let's find my LinkTree again. We're just going to go back here. We're going to click on this thing. So Emery Black Ice on Twitter. There's a LinkTree thing.
Have you had an uptick in Twitter or static?
I had a little bit of an uptick, actually. Anyways, on here, there's this buy me a tequila thing. It's where you can actually give me money, which would be great.
The server.
Just for me being me. But the point is, it's through money with Katie. There's one of these blogs in here. I don't know which one it's called. But it talked about like how much money do you need to actually get in order to retire on.
Yeah.
And it was a simple equation. Take your whatever you spend on something in a year and times it by 25, and that's what you would need. So say like yearly, you could live off 20,000 a year, times it by 25, and whatever that amount ends up being. Say it's $1 million. It's not. That's why I went to film school and not math school.
So is she going by, what's the percentage on that? I'm trying to figure, because the general rule of thumb is 4%.
Yeah, and basically you would return your interest on that money in that time, so you could just live off your interest. So what it boiled down to, Nick, is I need $14,000 to invest now so that I can have Slurpees for life. So find my LinkTree out there, go on and support my cause, and get me Slurpees for life. That would be fantastic. It's well worth your time, and it's not a selfish thing at all whatsoever.
No. So that's an interesting perspective. So I would more go from the perspective of you could do something and then get that money rather than just randomly getting it given to you.
Yeah. Well, her real point of it was, well, I mean that too, but her real point too was to figure out like what you need to retire on.
Yeah.
So you would you could figure out your current income and how much it is, because she actually did it. She didn't retire.
Like she's not able to retire right now if she wanted to.
I don't know right now. I feel like she's spending her money now to try and get her thing going, but she did. She essentially quit her job. She saved up enough, quit her job, lived off the interest from what she saved, because her life was at the time, whatever, living, I'm not going to say it was like cheap, but living reasonably enough.
Yeah.
So, and that was sort of her equation to figure that out. And then the same equation should work for your retirement.
Yeah.
While we're talking about retirement, Nick, you wanted to address a legacy issue.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. So I'm wondering, basically my photo organization right now is spread over probably 6 different hard drives. I've got a folder on random hard drives that'll say family pictures. And within those 6 drives are all my family pictures. But I was thinking that there's actual value in me going through all of that, getting it all onto one drive, backing it up, and then going into all those photos and organizing them in such a way that like either my daughter or future generations would be able to quickly distill what the 200 important photos are and carry it on that way. Because nobody wants all of those 8 billion photos that I've taken, but do the hard work of figuring out what the important photos are and then simplify it for somebody else.
Here's my question for you. Why do you have 8 billion photos and not just the important photos?
But
do you not go through and edit them and take out the ones that aren't important?
I have trouble deleting things.
Okay. So this is actually interesting to me because I'm the opposite. I love deleting things. It's like a bit of a control issue. I think the more and more I worked on computers, the more it sort of became a thing for me. So I do delete, and I delete a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, I only keep the ones that are final. So this is my drives I keep things on. I'm just going to a quick brief thing. So Arctic Wolf is like businessy kind of thing. So Black Ice, just 2 camera guys. You'll see eventually later they'll be chasing yesterday in there. Gray Wolf is sort of like my personal stuff. Like I got a full backup of my mom's computer here. I don't even think she knows that I have that, but I do. iTunes, movies, and junk like that, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, when I go through this, and it's a pretty extensive filing system, but eventually if I go to the right spot. No. There we go. So all my photography, everything for chasing yesterday's here, by year, by which trip it was, whatever. Even go into here. So each image that I finished off into an image has so one, it's got a raw file that I keep, then the original JPEG, then a signature JPEG. So the only difference between the two is my signature on one. So the signature has a signature, this one does not. And then the Twitter is my scaled down one that I will put on social media. So like if you look here, 1500 by 1000 versus 6720 by 488. So if I've edited it and kept it, it goes in there. Then if there's additional things, so there's some iPhone photos here, I'll add that to that file as well. Honestly, I think over time, I'll probably just delete these because I haven't used them for anything. If I use them, I'll keep them, but these ones will probably get deleted.
Wow.
So I've already established what's important and what isn't, and I'm doing that editing and filing them accordingly. So that is sort of my system. So then other things too. So like if I do some other things, so I did some, actually Matt Howard here. So I did some family photos for Matt and his family.
Oh, nice.
So the ones, these are the
mustache Matt's wearing right now?
No, it's just really small. Anyways, these sort of photos, and actually like typically I wouldn't keep these, but just because I like Matt, I kept a few for myself. And honestly,
make that bigger. I want to see that. Nice.
Then I'd have to share another screen thing. It's awkward. Anyways, but yeah, so Matt probably got like 50 photos, and those are the ones I kept.
So you actually took the time. Good for you. You took the time, whittled it down.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and again too, actually going back to this, so each thing separated: chasing yesterday versus the black ice signature versus other things I pull in, and then separated again. My design files for stuff, so things that I've created, some keeper vids are just other, like this whole thing is all different time lapses.
Wow.
I don't know, honestly, too, like some of that, I'm even questioning, like, why am I keeping it at this point? Documents and research, because I read a lot and download a lot. So that's that filing system. And then back to Grey Wolf, photo videos. So these are all like personal stuff. You want to see a picture of me? It's in, in this file. That was pretty funny. That was a birthday cake I got one year. It was pretty good. But anyways, pictures of me doing stuff. A great Halloween costume. Or throughout the year. So 2022, a picture of the mailbox, then set it up perfectly in line with the rain. That was grateful. The camera setup, so it's all organized, all done. And then so if the next step to this is, so like if my daughter, so the next step to this is really into my will.
Yeah.
So now in my will, I do have, basically it's spelled out. This stuff is kind of irrelevant. I don't count this, but in here, there is something spelled out for all of these photos. So like my daughter gets all these. Actually, technically my daughter gets all of them. And then Susan has the rights to anything in chasing yesterday and to use free of will.
Yeah.
So that is spelled out in my will. And I don't think that's something very many people do.
Well, that is more the will side of it. That's an interesting one. I was thinking more on the ease of organization, because I feel like a pretty popular retirement thing for most people is like you get the VHS converting machine, and then they start digitizing all their stuff and doing that. But yeah, how you've done it's really smart, because it's like you're just keeping on top of it as you go and having it all organized. And I don't know, there are different solutions out there that'll help you with that, but I don't really want to do a paid subscription thing for this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it didn't take me that long to do that. And then too, like when you get in the habit of it, so new photos on my phone.
Yeah.
When I dump them in, I'll bring them in. I'll decide whether they're important to keep or not. Delete the ones that I decide are not, and then file the new ones accordingly.
But how are you going to have a accurate representation of all the different home screens on your iPhone over the years? Of the things the accidental screen grabs, you just delete those right away.
Yeah, those get deleted like instantly. Actually,
I've probably got 1,000 of them on here.
I do it so often too. It's terrible.
This is gonna just annoy you to no end.
But does that make sense? Does that help you out?
It does. It does a lot.
Do you think it's something you would try, or do you think there should be an easier way?
No, I think it's just because once I get in the habit of something, I can do it without question at all. Like, it's not even a problem. Yeah, I've got a million of stuff like this where it's like, oh, it's kind of machine is, why do I do that? Yeah, you just get rid of it.
You know, and it might be valuable for a time, but you really do have to like sit and like, is this valuable to me over time?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those things. I think there's probably an easier way. I think someone probably has a more elegant solution. I just don't know what it is, and this is what I've done.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking to get everything into Lightroom, and then even just make a folder that says best of or something like that. Just chuck it all in there or something.
I find Lightroom interesting because I hate the way it organizes stuff.
Yeah, actually, you know what? iPhoto's better at that. So maybe I'd have to do an iPhoto. Something
it's interesting. Here's the thing too. So I said that, but I shouldn't be so judgmental. I should really like look for help. Because I do think there's some value in Lightroom, the metadata we talked about. Because I hardly put any metadata on my stuff, which is probably bad. I should probably start doing more. I should probably be like a little more conscious of it. And what I've found too, like organizing it, like I'm better off organizing it and doing my sort of system. And then when it's done, then bring it into Lightroom to edit. But like that just seems like cumbersome to me as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I haven't been a big fan.
Maybe there's just another organization photo piece of software out there. I remember iPhoto being good, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I really don't know. Again, it's just the thing that I've done, and I don't know. And again, I think the will part is important as well. I might actually update mine because there was part of me thinking that I kind of want to send stuff to the Sask archives as well, which again, I don't think is something very many people actually think about. But like, if I send it to the Sask archives, like that's literally keeping my legacy alive, right?
Yeah.
100 years from now, someone could look up a photo of some farmhouse and it could be mine and it's going to be my name. And that old saying about like you die twice, the first time when you physically die, and then the second time's the last time someone mentions you or thinks of you. Well, the Sask archives can keep that going for forever, really.
Well, okay, so there's two things. My first reaction is nobody will care. But if you think about it like this, if you could go back, and we'll just stick with your family, and just look at the top 50 photos from your grandpa, and then go back to your great-grandfather, and then go back 3 generations, and then 4, to go back 500 years of just seeing the top 200 photos or videos or whatever, you totally would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, be interesting. Nick, moving on to the next thing. Did actually before I do, does that kind of satisfy you with the talk of legacy for tonight?
It does. Yeah, I just got to get off my butt and do it. Is basically what you're saying. I think.
Well, or find a way. Like I think it is important, and I think people should do it. But however you do it is fine. But I just think it is important, and I do think it's something that's more than often overlooked.
But tracking stuff, like I don't have a problem with organizing it because I can put in every single dollar that I spend into the app, track it, budget it, and I've done that consistently for like 3 years now, 2.5 years, something like that. So it's possible.
Yeah, I'd be super pumped if someone watches this video like down the road and has like just this miracle solution.
Yeah,
like a one-click organization. Pretty cool.
Just AI picks out your photos, deletes all of the crap.
Nick, we don't really have time for this. I think we should jump off for the night, but this is what I wanted to do with you. So I am sharing, this is Photoshop. It is not Lightroom. However, do you know what? I also kind of botched this a bit. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. This is cool. So you were going to edit that on the fly, basically?
Yeah.
So this, let's save. I think you're right. Let's save it because you know what might be really interesting? We do that, and then I can even do a walkthrough of DaVinci Resolve or something like that.
Well, it's black and white. It's going to be hard to do, but we can do DaVinci another day. Here we go. Share my screen. Basically, what I wanted to do, you and I took these photos some time ago. So this is Photoshop Raw. When I actually share my screen instead of just jumping into the program. This is a photo of me. We decided we were going to do this self-portrait thing.
Oh, yeah.
These were actually some of the photos I was maybe going to put into the thing, but then I thought it seemed weird that it was us.
Why?
Well, because it was us in the background and then us on the screen. Just seemed awkward. Anyway, so, and yeah, shot on the film camera.
You on the wolf head, like as the minotaur or whatever, and then I'm on the sheep head, like a. You know what I mean? What is it? Half horse, half human, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, just editing it. That's the quick to reverse your black and white. How it gets done.
Oh, nice.
Watch that. Actually, another thing I should do is actually make it black and white as well. So just the one click up there, and then everything is going to be black and white. It changes some other options on here as well, but it makes it nice that your whites are white. This is your image that you took of me, Nick. What do you think it needs? What should we do?
Well, I just had no concept of black and white in the sky. Like, sky doesn't play the same way it does. So I needed to back up. I need to make the lines longer, more of it, because you can't rely on the sky to add that top third. Like, you know, that your rule of thirds doesn't apply with the sky.
Well, I mean, the image can be cropped, right?
Yeah, but I mean
it does need to be like with the film. So
yeah, but yeah. So what I would have done now, seeing it in black and white, had I did it, I would have probably taken a step to the left, saw more of the train tracks because the train's mattering way more in black and white than it would have in color, and just created more visual lines without the color. It really stands out the lack of.
It's funny you say that's probably what I ended up doing. I'll show you that after. Exposure, where do you think it needs to go?
It needs to be more contrast.
Contrast first?
Well, not necessarily contrast. I just it needs more. The blacks need to get a little deeper, I would say.
I always forget this, but like when I swap that, it works in reverse. Probably some shadows or something, or there you go. Drag the whites down a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Add some exposure. Ooh, dehaze. I don't even know what to do in film. That's kind of sucked.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm so disappointed with the sky in black and white right now.
I'm going to see if I can open up this image in the same.
I think what even just to get more true, I just would have gotten way less sky because the sky is just so sad. Maybe I'd have to get up higher or something, or create a different angle, or I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
the sky's just not working here.
Yeah, I feel like I told you that night, but you don't want to.
I didn't listen because I was looking in color. My eyes are in color. I'd never shot black and white before.
I'm gonna drop that one out and then.
Let's see yours. What one did you do?
So here is the shot of Nick.
Watch, you'll have no sky. It'll just be perfect. Yeah. Oh no, you do have sky.
You were talking about the train line though?
Yeah, you actually had a train. This is way better shot.
Yeah, like I kind of figured, well, we came to the tracks. It's got to be part of our options here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's way better shot. Hey, it's the same shirt I'm wearing.
Always Leroy and Leroy. I think even my quick adjustments. So like, here's the funny part, right? Like if you don't work in it, I don't think you really know like what to do all the time. But like, I feel like I got to like a better spot in that image than you did in like a few seconds, and just by me sort of playing with it and guessing.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's a good picture.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like your kid too in the bottom.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So funny. The funny part was she was in your photo too.
Yeah, I think she was in every photo. Yeah, and honestly too, like between those, like you can go into like these other things here where, because we're working, actually I should flip it to black and white, because we're working in black and white, like this doesn't really affect stuff that much. Like, so it is those like basic controls when I'm doing this film stuff, but it's still kind of interesting. It's still kind of fun. You can still sort of toy with a few of the things. Actually, let's go back to here and put in like some texture or something and see. Sort of picks up that grain, picks up that gray beard you got there too, Nick.
Yeah, it's nice.
Anyways, yeah, like that's, you can do stuff relatively quick. The other thing I would note is like, I'm not really paying attention to this stuff up here, but it's kind of funny how it does sort of fit, you know, semi okay in the curve. Yeah. I think this spot's actually going to be each sprocket hole. And then this is probably like the outside of the frame. So I still probably could push it like a little more exposure that way.
Yeah, I think so.
And then probably bring the blacks down again if I want like some more.
You know what? I don't like the extra pixelation in it or whatever. The
grain?
The grain, yeah. Or whatever you did to enhance it.
Yeah.
The texture. Yeah, I think I like
it's like clarity and clarity and texture do a lot of that. I think I would try to work and get those like whites up as well a little bit more, but I think to do that, a guy might have to go into the curves.
Yeah.
To actually just adjust that, which
because you know what you could do, which would actually be probably fantastic, is to zoom in and actually sharpen up the eyes separate to keep the softness but the illusion of sharpness at the same time.
Yeah. Anyways, editing fun. I was gonna make that like a longer segment, but I think that's probably good enough.
This is cool. I like that. I think that's a good nice little segment to edit a photo segment.
Yeah, and like you said, I think next time maybe you should do like a resolve thing.
Yeah, but I like this. Pick a photo and you could just edit it. I like that.
And then I'm not going to save it. We'll deal with it later.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm trying to think. Did we hit everything? I guess
we hit more.
Well, we are missing one thing, Nick. And
what's that?
Do you know what? Let's just hit it real quick. Okay. Your day today. So you had some big plans for today. How'd it go?
Oh yeah, I wanted to film the vlog today because our DJI Osmo action camera that was water resistant. 'Tis not water resistant, it turns out. So its last photo was Ruth at a pool coming out of the water. The last video So we got a new camera, and I kind of wanted to take it for a little test drive, but I just forgot altogether.
Yeah. So I've tried doing it too, kind of vlogging stuff. I've actually put out a few things. I put out a thing for the WHL there that we did, and then the sort of film thing I did. I want to do another film one here whenever I pull my act together. But it's like, it is hard to do.
I had it pictured. I was going to do an actual vlog style. Like, all right, this is where we are this morning. This is planned for the day. We're going to go do this. And then I was going to take it to the shoot that I had and out to the landscaping or whatever that I was doing and to the lumber yard, basically. Like, I was going to take it everywhere. But I should try that again someday.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it before, and which leads me like to the question I asked you before. Like, because it's so time consuming, because you have to think of it, you almost have to make that vlog your job and not the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, that's the weird part.
Your job.
And then, yeah, that's the weird part. And then it's also getting over the, I don't think it's actually awkward, but it's just the first time you do it, where you take it to a shoot and you're vlogging, it's just getting over that self-conscious of like, but nobody will really care is the joke of it, but yeah. It's just getting over it.
I think it's weird because you're 40.
I don't care though.
I was just joking. Anyways, I think people are more and more used to it because, like, I mean, you see kids out in the street setting up their phone to do their TikToks things, and I kind of laugh at it all the time, but at the same time, like, whatever. It's not weird. It's not really a judging thing. It's just a quick.
I set up my camera to do TikToks all the time.
Yeah,
I shot. Kid you not, I shot 12 TikToks on Saturday.
Right down in Esteban.
Yeah. Oh, that one's out today.
Oh, I was just going to ask, how long does it take to turn one of those around?
Well, it takes longer when you do 12, it's a little bit of time, but you can get out one, like, if you're just doing one, 10 minutes. Doesn't take too long. But yeah, you have to check it out. It's really funny because there's the Estevan water tower. It's got quotations. So he was like, we finally made it to Estevan.
I'll have to have a look at it. Yeah.
I think we had a shout out to producer Clark on it too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because Clark's the one that gave you it.
Yeah.
So our guest, which hopefully we have on next time, I'm going to have to check, messaged me tonight. So hopefully our next episode, we do have a guest on. I'll try and sort that out. I got a bunch of other texts. We should get Clark on again.
Oh, yeah, we did have him on. But he was with the group. I think we should get just Clark on.
Just Clark?
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I talked to Clark about StreamYard tonight.
Yeah.
So that's something else you and I have to discuss.
Is he in on StreamYard or is he out on StreamYard?
He's done on StreamYard for now.
Okay.
But I think we should be sold on StreamYard and in.
Okay.
I know you were pumping this OBS thing, but it's too easy.
I'm all over it though. I'm just testing it like crazy. And
you've done nothing, haven't you?
No, I opened it up. I forgot the program. It's confusing.
OBS is your Lightroom to me.
I wish that Premiere just had something that'd be easier, or Adobe.
The StreamYard's too slick and it works well for us, I think.
Adobe needs to put it in the Creative Suite. Yeah, actually,
I'm
surprised they don't now that I think about it.
It would be smart if Adobe did. So if Adobe's listening.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
they keep up on all the trends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got another buddy texting me tonight too. This is really funny, Nick. You're going to enjoy this. My buddy Scott sends me this text. Right now is a great time to invest in tech stock, in my opinion. Shopify, PayPal in particular, Unity software. There you go.
Yeah. You know what I've learned over the years? My buddies sending me stock tips is they always work out so well.
Well, we've been talking about crypto.
Yeah.
Like me, you, and Ryan.
Yeah.
Would you buy in on more crypto now?
I do. I will. Well, there's two different things with crypto. I've heard some extremely convincing arguments to put 1% of your net earnings or whatever over time into crypto. So I've been highly considering doing that.
Gary V again?
I bet you Gary would have some. Gary's would probably be higher. I like Gary V. He's good. He's he is inspiring. And he is, so you know how he's actually completely changed my mind on negative comments and criticisms and hate on the comments on YouTube and TikTok.
What do you mean?
So he is saying you need to respond. You need, instead of just being like, screw that person, just completely ignoring it, you should consider, you need to be empathetic to that person, because whatever's going on in their life that's making them do that is actually kind of sad. And you, by them actually even watching your stuff, you're in a position where you can be a positive on them.
All right.
So he just completely flips it on its head and turns you hearing negative into a chance to be positive.
So do you guys get like a lot of negative?
Well, prior to me even hearing that, like Gary Vee talk about that, was just completely, I didn't even watch it because I would get negatively affected by it. But now the mind shift of going, this person is clearly going through something, and for them to do that, that's something that, for them to speak out in that way, is like they would have, how do you even, I'm trying to think of the right word. I'd need to rewatch it, but it's just seeing what that negative thing is, something that you could respond with empathy towards them.
Yeah. I know, it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think like empathy is always going to win. And like you said, like regardless of how they got to that point that they're saying it, whether they're like me and they get so annoyed with something that they just want to scream and then they take it out on your thing, or whether, yeah, they're just having a bad day. Like, I think it's two different things. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other thing too is I always find it interesting, like how passionate about certain things people get as well, like certain subjects. You know how like they say, like, you know, you don't touch on politics because it'll just get out of hand in a hurry,
Mm-hmm.
which is like kind of true. And
yeah.
We probably had the most controversial post I think we've ever had on Chasing yesterday, like a week or two ago. And it was about bunny hugs, Nick.
Really?
Yeah. Like, so basically what I posted was, you know, the term, how it maybe sort of came about, and why I think it's a great term.
Yeah.
And like some of the responses, man, they were like, some people were like, yes, 100%. Other people were like, you're an idiot. like all right, man. I still think it's a good term. Like, you're not going to convince me otherwise by just saying it's dumb. But
yeah, that's the thing, is if you're going to say it's dumb, you should at least present an argument.
Yeah. Yeah. And even too, like I get like a little bit sassy about it. And I don't know, I almost feel bad about maybe the way I said it, but there's this one guy on there talking about basically everyone else calls it a hoodie, so don't be stupid, just call it a hoodie.
Yeah.
And again, I think this is probably inappropriate, but like my dad used to always say, well, if everybody jumps off a bridge, are you going to jump off a bridge too?
Yeah.
Like, so that was my response to the guy. I'm like, my dad used to always say this, like, so doing what everyone else does isn't necessarily a good thing, right? So, but I don't know. It's one of those things. He made his point. I made mine, I felt.
Yeah. Well, there's some value in
there was zero empathy in that, though.
History. Yeah. There is, there is some value to just being, no, I'm going to do it this way as well.
Yeah.
And not listening to it. But yeah, I'm completely fascinated by Gary Vee. He's very interesting.
Yeah. My girl, Money with Katie, kind of likes him as well. So just because he's kind of a no guff about it kind of guy. So she kind of likes that sometimes. And then she mentions another person all the time who's like the softer side of it. So yeah, she talks about Gary and him always, how their things conflict, but both of them have value. So it's always interesting reading her stuff as well.
Well, Gary's is, his is just inspiring is what his is. He's just more from the very high energy, very much just get out and do something. Just do it. Like, don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yeah. Cool, man. I think that probably wraps it up for us for tonight. Are you going to leave us with any
just
well-established quip?
Lovely words of wisdom. I've still got those ND filters on the shelf of shame. I got to get rid of them.
I got my Drobo on my shelf now.
Are you actually going to sell it?
Yeah, I put it up already.
What did you list it for?
Probably too high. I don't even remember. Maybe 2 minutes here.
Yeah. Sorry to all the comments. We just ran out of time.
Yeah, we could get to
We'll get to you later. Maybe we'll answer them on the next show.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm taking my sweet time trying to actually find this. What actually would
I'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah. Buy stuff here. Tap the right buttons, Emery. Where are your listings? What did I list it for? So I listed all the drives.
We got the drives there too.
Yeah, I said 250. So I wiped all the drives out, did like the 3 times wipeout thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It actually didn't take too long. So I listed the Drobo for 175 and all the drives for 250.
So you buy the Drobo and the drives for 250?
No, all the drives. There's actually some extra drives there.
So how many drives do you got?
5. Because the Drobo's only a 4.
What's the total terabyte?
There's six hard drives there. And the total terabytes is 246 plus another 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13.
13 terabytes, 250. That's not crazy.
Do you need some hard drives for your NAS?
I do not. I've got too many drives. And I think we're going to have competing hard drives for sale here someday.
Yeah. I think the big thing with the drives is just make sure you wipe them like good enough. Do like the higher wipes.
Yeah. A little bit of Windex, wipe it down.
Yeah. Not that, it's funny too, like, because they all came from the Drobo essentially, or the Drobos, I should say.
Yeah.
So like the data on them's a garbled mess anyways. But
yeah. So you do 3 formats is how you're supposed to do it?
I don't even remember what I just did Apple's. I knew how to work this thing. Oh, man. sorry, I totally found something else that was mildly interesting. Yeah, I can't remember what all their options are, Nick.
That's fine.
Anyways, you had asked me about speed of the drives.
Yeah.
So my external hard drive that is doing my backups right now runs at a speed of, so it writes 135 megabytes per second and read of 135 megabytes per second. So I did all this stuff on well, I did it on several things, but the speeds I ended up keeping were the ones from the Blackmagic thing, camera disk speed test. I got this marked as the Western Digital Easy Store. Oh, so this was my those hard drives. So after I wiped them, so they're launched into that little like hard drive reader thing, and USB 3 connection. So a 7200 RPM drive slammed into a connection plugged in by USB to the thing was giving me 203 megabytes write and 206 read.
Oh, wow.
I looked up the G Drive Pro Lightning connection ones, and what those ones are saying is it would be up to 240 read and write. So that's only 40 more than hooking the hard drive straight up. It's considerably better than just a regular desktop hard drive, right? It's almost twice as fast as those.
Yeah.
The Drobo, so we were talking about its speed and why to keep it as well. So the Drobo is doing a write of 247 megabits per second. So faster, just basically the same speed as that G Drive Pro that is supposed to be super fast and the one to use with if you're a professional and not using NAS.
Yeah.
Its read is 519 megabits per second. So that's when you start stacking those drives and it's delivering information through that. And then this one has the eSATA at the underneath of it to speed it up even more. That's where all of that is coming in.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, like bang for buck, it's actually probably one of the quicker systems you can get out there. So it is significant. So that's one of the reasons why I'm keeping my Drobo. So speed is a benefit to it, and being able to hot swap those stuff, the drives out.
So it's been brought to you by Emery's Kijiji Listings.
Yeah, but the old Drobo's on sale. The old Drobo is significantly slower. I think it's only like,
is it?
I think it was, it's funny I didn't have it because I did test it, but I think it was like 195 up and 195 read, 195 write.
Because without that boost or whatever one of these.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an older one. It uses this Drobo's got the Lightning connection, not regular USB or USB 2 or whatever it had. So yeah. Anyways, Nick.
Right on.
We'll wrap it up. That's another show. I'm going to fade the music up, and thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.
Right on. See you later, Emery.
See ya.